The Board of Park Commissioners Board meeting for Tuesday, February the 25th is now in session. Let the record reflect that we did not have an executive session. Okay, now we'll have our Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we'll start with our administrative reports. And we'll first have the Revenue Center Marquette to come up with their report. Ms. Kanisha Jackson.
Good morning. So I just have a couple things for you. On early Saturday morning, there was an accident near the parking lot of Marquette Park Pavilion. The driver fled, but he did later turn himself in. The parking lot sign that was put up no more than 2 months ago, that was down for 2 years, was damaged. And I did send you all photos. Officer Lilly has the police report, and he said he was coming today, but I don't see him yet. And then I'll just keep you updated as to whether he had insurance and anything else. I don't have any other information, but I wanted you to be aware of what happened. And that was right before the Superhero and Princess brunch, so he had me kind of worried that the kids would walk up and see that.
Commissioner, if you may, just to make sure before Daryl gets a copy of the police report as soon as possible.
Okay. The food and liability waiver for the guests who bring light foods into the facility was reviewed by the board attorney, and I made all the highlights. I made the corrections that they wanted, and I made the additions that they wanted me to make to the waiver. And today, see if we can move forward with approving it.
I did review it. One question that we had is, now this is just for the person who's leasing it, or is it something like when you go to Sky Zone, everybody? Just the person who's
Just the
leasing it?
person that's leasing it.
And we did review it. We have no problems with it.
Okay, so we'll approve it when Ms. Jackson gets it. Or we'll vote on it rather.
Okay, the Triumphs and Thanks. The second annual Superhero and Princess Brunch was held last Saturday. It was a great success. I did email the photos. There were a lot of I want to print them all out. And I'm just saying I'm happy about the turnout in the way that the city and the community showed up and supported us. Saturday, April the 18th, 2020, the Girl Scouts of Northwest Indiana will host a beach cleanup at Marquette Park. So if you would like to volunteer and help them, as well as the Parks Department, please, you can sign up on the Girl Scouts website at girlscoutsgcnorthwestindiana.org. And our last thing is that the Food Truck Block Fest, Saturday, July 11, 2020, from 12 noon until 8 p.m. So we extended the hours on this year because last year we had such a good turnout, and a lot of people wanted us to be there a little longer, so we just put the additional hours on the front end instead of on the end. So, and if you would like to be a vendor at the Food Truck Block Fest, give us a call in the office at 219-938-7362 before all the spaces fill up.
What are those hours again?
From noon to 8 p.m.
Okay.
And I don't have anything else right now.
Okay, thank you.
Hudson Campbell, Ventress Jackson. Ventress Jackson, senior. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. The City of Gary Human Resource Department will be hosting a wellness committee health fair on Friday, It's coming Friday, March 28th, in observance of American Heart Month, National Senior Independence Month, and National Children's Dental Health Month. We encourage you to participate in wellness activities. It is open to the public. Again, it's Friday, February 28th, 2020, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Some of our vendors are the Methodist Hospital, Oak Street Health, Anthem, Merriam Health Center, Edgewater Health, the Gary Fire Department, and Humana. Campbell is still fully operational. We open Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Also Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And I'd like to encourage you to come out and support Steel City Biddy Basketball on Saturdays. Venue for individuals and the family. Also, the Gary Commission for Women is sponsoring a free self-defense class here at the Hudson Campbell. Participate in a free class that will give you the ability to overcome an attacker. The class will be facilitated by Nine Mind Martial Science Institute. You would have to call in and get a reservation, although it happens tomorrow. I still think it's an opportunity for you to call and make a reservation. All ages are welcome to attend. It's here at the Hudson Campbell, 455 Massachusetts Street. And the number is 219-883-4155. We're also working on having a charity basketball game with the Gary Fire Department and the Gary Police Department, and we're hoping to have that here at the Hudson Campbell sometime in June. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Here? No. No report. Okay, so we'll go on to Christine Williams.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The City of Gary and Department of Public Parks will host an informational meeting for those who want to try out for lifeguards. The date is March 4th and March 11th. It will be held in this room at 5 p.m. All applicants must be 15 by June 1st. Also, the water safety, we have the Water Safety Outreach Day at the YWCA, April 11th. It's a collaboration with the Gary Parks, YWCA, and Jack and Jill. We're actually going to talk about different safety tips, what you should do if you get caught. We're going to have demonstrations in the water, so we're going to have a big program. Got approval through the Y, so they're all on board. So we're starting to work on different things, and as we get closer to the date, I will have a program put together and have it approved. Also, the lifeguard manual has got put together, so now I just sent it in to get approved to see if any things that need to be adjusted or changed, and that's it.
Thank you. Youth Service Bureau, Jonathan.
Good morning.
Good morning. No, this is just one.
Let me see if I can see that.
Here's another.
That's the different one. Let me get it.
I'll get you some copies. Oh, here we go. Okay, so we've been working on the job program. We had a meeting with community partners on last week. In fact, some of them are here, Mrs. Simmons and Geneva. I'm sorry, brain freeze. Was it? Martine, I'm sorry. So our partners shared their concerns about the employability of our young people. So we have partners that's been experience with children that are already in the school. So we're going to partner with them so they can help our young people be more prepared for the job force. Because that's a very important. I had no idea. I've worked with children as well, but I had no idea that the children I work with. Usually they either on probation or they're in foster care, so there are some issues, but they said the general population has some issue with employment, so we're going to address that issue moving forward so we can maximize our programming. Okay, in addition to that, we did a little bit of rebranding, recreation. We have the Urban Scouts, formerly known as the Nature Kids. It's Mondays, Wednesdays, and Friday at the Douglas Center. And so it's open to the public. There'll be activities like hiking and much more. So that's Mondays, Wednesdays, and Friday. And also there'll be a healthy snack afterwards. Okay, in addition to that, by popular, I got a few phone calls about the Mayor Youth Council. So we're going to start that back up. Let me see. Just a second. Now we have an orientation meeting that's going to be here. It's going to be March 12th from 5 p.m. to 6:30. And so, you know, the general public is welcome to come. Our community partner is going to help us get children out to the meeting. They'll be doing things like learning civics, and also we're going to institute our job program orientation into it, so we can kind of, you know, just wrap it around. Let's see. Oh, also, okay, so also last week I met with one of the local high schools, and they're interested in our nutrition program. I met with the athletic director, as administrator, and all we need to do now is paperwork. But they have agreed to accept our nutrition program. Any questions?
No,
All
thank
right,
you.
Thank you.
Okay, and that brings us to our executive reports.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Just a couple of updates. We are going through right now all of our pavilions. We have a lot of issues in them, so we are identifying those problems. We are looking to fix a lot of those problems. Particularly one is Tolliston Park Pavilion. We have the contractor waiting on the parts for the HVAC, so that should be coming in this week if they haven't already gotten in. I haven't heard back from them. And also we are doing bids for the roof. So we're putting together a specification for the roof at Tolliston Park Pavilion. That work will be bid out, as well as the work in a lot of these other pavilions. We have that going on. Also, we had an issue at Marquette Park regarding the bridge, and I'm waiting on approval for the funding from our chief of staff in order to have the engineer to go and assess that bridge for us. We were looking for 3 quotes. We weren't able to find a third one, so the 2 that we have is sufficient, and we are going to take the lowest one. And I believe one of our partners in the Miller community is the one that presented the lowest bidder for that, so that we're going to move forward with that as well. Also, I received a letter from Ms. Carroll. She wasn't able to sign in to speak, but I gave you a copy of this. She wanted you all to see all of the work that the Friends of Marquette have put into the pavilion. Put into Marquette Park, I'm sorry, and all the expenses, and they do need assistance with the repair of the lighting. And so if you will take a look at this as well and read it, and I'll also look at it and see what we can do to address this situation. And it's another document that from a resident. They want to put up a dog sign, dog waste station sign, and they're willing to pay for it themselves. They just want approval to be able to install it. So she wants you all to look at that as well. And that is what we are working on. We're also working on our job piece for our youth for this summer. Jonathan alluded to that as well. So we're actively working with that and going into the schools and trying to get that program up and running. So that is what we are working on. Thank you.
Okay, any questions? I had a question about the budget for the pavilions. I know we probably can't address every pavilion,
Right.
but is there a list that you have of priorities that, as far as what you're gonna do, where you're gonna go first, second, you know?
Yes, so what we were looking at, the mayor's staff asked me to look at Tolliston first, so we're looking at Tolliston, Brunswick, Ambridge, Roosevelt Pavilion, and I want to say it's another one. I can't think off the top of my head, but I think it's another one.
Borman or?
Which one was Borman is another one because the roof is coming in. Borman, and I think it was some damage out there in Glen Park. Christine, which one is that? Hal Park.
Oh, okay,
Mhm.
okay, okay. Very good.
So those are the ones that we were looking at.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, and we don't have funding in our budget, so this is a separate project that the mayor's office will have to assist with the funding in terms of the repairs.
But you'll keep us up to date.
I definitely will.
Okay. Very good. Well, we can now go back and approve the minutes from the previous meeting. So, board members. Oh, okay. We have an established quorum now. So now we're gonna go back and approve the minutes from the previous meeting. That's the minutes from the meeting we held on Wednesday, February the 11th. Okay? So, board members.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, it's been approved and second. So we approve the minutes from Wednesday, February the 11th. Roll call?
Commissioner Williams?
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson?
Yes.
Commissioner Patterson?
Yes. Now we'll go to the claims list for approval. This claim is from, as of 2/24/20. Any questions about the claims? If there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve claims.
Second. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, it's been approved and second that we approve claims as of 2/24/20. Roll call?
Commissioner Williams?
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson?
Yes.
Commissioner Patterson?
Yes. Next, we have approval of catering company for Marquette.
What's our status
So
on
now
that?
that's new.
Committee?
Commission? Okay, we got a
So-
packet here.
Yeah, so far, we only have one company that turned in a bid.
Okay.
So,
Now,
and that's the package that you have.
okay, this is one person's packet. Okay,
Wow.
okay. Yeah, and we haven't had a chance to really take a look at it, so.
So I believe Kamisha wanted to call a special, ask if you all would have a special meeting after you've had an opportunity to review it. And she wants to discuss it for approval.
Okay. Is that gonna require an executive session? Yes. Okay, so we need to look at an executive session date?
Yes, as soon as possible.
As soon
What's the
as,
status of the alcohol license?
Well, the one that, the package that you have, she's in good standing.
What's the status of the president? We don't have one.
We don't. You mean Marquette?
Yeah, the Marquette license. What's the status of our license on Marquette?
Oh, we're active.
Okay. all right, that's fine.
so now, our next meeting date is March 10th. Is that too late, or should we discuss it sooner?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, but
We need to discuss it soon, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
So what are you suggesting?
We have brides that's waiting, and we're putting them on hold because we haven't made a
let's do
decision.
it Friday.
If- That's fine, we could do it Friday if,
Friday, let's do it Friday. Good?
that's the 28th, if we can get all the board members to agree on the time, just let us know.
I'm good for Friday.
What time? We'll do it now. You want to do it now, same time, Friday?
At 10 o'clock?
At 10 o'clock Friday?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Let's do it
We do
Friday,
that.
10 o'clock.
So, we're scheduled to do it Friday. Executive session is scheduled Friday, actually, February the 28th at 10 o'clock. And that's to discuss the approval of a catering company for Marquette Park Pavilion. Correct. Okay. Is that enough time?
You have to post it today. You have 48 hours.
They won't post it.
Okay.
I don't know. That's 10 o'clock though. What's the day? Tuesday?
Today is
Oh,
Tuesday.
that's fine.
We're good. Oh, yes, okay, okay. So it's gotta be posted by Wednesday. More than what you'll post it today, so
Yes.
this is good, okay. Good. Okay, very well. Has the deadline approached for bidders to submit packets?
Yes.
Oh, it's closed? Okay, okay. Very good. But that's it, that's all we can discuss about that until Friday, so, okay, very well. Okay, so now we'll look at ratification of payroll. What's next on the list?
Any overtime or any unusual items on the payroll?
There was some overtime for when we had snow.
Okay.
The general services called because they had, I think they have like 7 employees that are no longer in that department, and they asked, they needed some additional drivers. So, they used Ron, Chaz, and Joseph Ross to assist them, so, for those days.
So we have funds to pay them, right?
Yes, we should have funds paid.
So the hours worked, the 189, that's a payout for the former park superintendent?
That's correct.
And then the park manager, that's overtime, the 94 hours?
Ron Copeland,
And then
that's
those are the
correct.
2 you spoke of?
Yes, and
Okay.
then, I know Miss Angela gave a breakdown as well, that should have been attached on your sheet.
Okay.
So it's a recommendation of the,
Approve it.
on the recommendation of the superintendent, I make a motion that we approve it. As presented.
So roll call?
Commissioner Williams?
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson?
Yes.
Commissioner Patterson?
Yes. That brings us to legal reports?
I have no additional reports today.
Okay. Very well. Contracts?
The contracts, I believe these were some of the other older contracts that we had. We just didn't have them on the agenda for last time, but the service contract has been looked at. It is okay for approval.
Okay, did we approve that last time, the service contract?
It was
For some
approved. We had
reason, I
to
thought
bring
we
it up.
approved that last time.
It was approved, it just wasn't signed because it wasn't.
Correct. Okay, so we don't need to vote on that again. We just need to sign off on it, okay. And then it says Rail Cats baseball. We're gonna table that for now?
Yes, let's
Okay,
table
so
it.
we're gonna table that for now, okay? Very good. We've had our administrative reports, our executive reports. So now we're down to the Gary City Farm proposal. Is there Paxton Suggs here?
That's me.
Very well.
Hello, everybody. How are you this
Good
morning?
morning.
So, as I said in our last meeting, I am the Cities Connecting Children to Nature AmeriCorps Vista Associate, and my job is to get kids to touch leaves, basically, and to create the spaces wherein they can do that. Much like we have Hudson Campbell here as a center for the entire city to come and work on their health and wellness. I think it's important to have a centralized place for residents to also be able to work on the environment's health and wellness, and by extension their own. At the last board meeting, Don pulled me aside. I don't know his exact title. Is he the director of Gleason Park? What is? He pulled me aside and he let me know about a roughly 14-acre plot of land in North Gleason Park, formerly a par 3 golf course that has. It's a driving range in the front, there's a parking lot in the middle, and then there's a 14-acre plot of land that is fenced in and irrigated, and not being used for any purpose at all whatsoever. In doing some research about the site and figuring out its history, how it was how Gleason altogether was segregated, South Gleason was for white folks and North Gleason was for black folks. A lot of that history came from Brad Miller here's organization, the Indiana Landmark, Brad has put in a lot of effort and work into getting the North Gleason Park Pavilion recognized on the Historic Register, the National Historic Register, as well as applying for a grant for the roof. Of course, all of those things are in stages, so to speak to the pavilions out there. So that's kind of one that the city hopefully will not have to take care of because Brad's organization has already done that. And in looking at all of that and working with the organization that's sponsoring me being here, we just had a catch-up call last week, and they made it clear that they had additional funding available, up to $10,000 for to create spaces and programs where kids can do this kind of work. So putting all of that together, I asked them if we could have an extension. It was originally due Monday. So I guess my question to the board today, and of course I have a lot of detail. You did get my little write-up there in your packet? Okay.
Yes.
So there are a lot of details in there. I don't want to go crazy because we have a whole 4-step process, this, that, and the other with subpoints and all those kind of things. But I'd like to get permission to be able to submit the grant. It doesn't obligate us to having to use that land. We still have a few obstacles that we have to figure out with the Zoning and Redevelopment Commission to make sure it's available to us. But as of now, it is a parcel of land doing nothing that with very little money, and we have partnered with several organizations in developing what could be really one of the preeminent municipal farms in the entire country. I mean, the stuff that we could do with it would just be headline-making news.
Okay. Now, do we need to vote on that for approval?
Yes.
Any questions from? Okay. So I'll entertain a
I'm in the
motion.
class with subs in the whole urban initiative class with Purdue University. And we've been going for 12 weeks. Last week I was down with a conference in Indianapolis. And that seems to be the trend of the country. The government is putting a lot of money in. In fact, March the 3rd, there's going to be $274 million that's going to be allocated across the country for various states to participate. And I think that we should be ahead of this project because always we're usually behind. I make a motion that we approve.
And if I may just add to that, one of the things that I've run into that has been the most frustrating in my, and I've only been here 5 weeks, so it's not huge, but is that a lot of these grants that are out there, in order to receive the grant, you have to have the infrastructure. And if we were able to, and you know, I built a farm on 15th in Massachusetts last summer, so I'm qualified to do this, especially with our connections through the Gary Urban Farmers Initiative and Gary's Foods Council, Northwest Indiana Food Council. The Rotary Club has signed on. I mean, I've been beating the pavement on this, and if we were to get the space and be able to designate it, the funds and the opportunities that would be able to come to us following that first season are, and you have me for free until next January, so that's a lot of time for me to do some grant writing, so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it's been motion. I'll get a second. Can I get a second? Second. Okay. So if it's motion and second that we approve the Connecting Children and Cities to Nature grant proposal for the Gleason Park farmland.
Wonderful.
For lack of a better word. Okay.
Thank you.
Commissioner Williams?
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson?
Yes.
Commissioner Patterson?
Yes. Thank you, and thank you for all your enthusiasm.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Awesome. We look forward to hearing a positive response on you getting a grant. Okay. Any other questions? So now we're ready for public comment.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Oh,
If we
sure.
could go back to unfinished business, we have
Unfinished, okay.
Officer Lilly here who can speak to the
Oh,
incident that
perfect.
occurred at Marquette Park.
Oh, wonderful. I didn't see you come in.
Do we have
Okay.
anybody else out
Wasn't
here?
meant to be seen to come in.
Ms. Wesley, are you here for something?
Would she be on the public comment?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We're not gonna forget about her. Hi.
Hello,
Good morning.
everyone.
Good
How are you all?
morning.
So there was an incident. The individuals were drag racing early in the morning going north on Grand Boulevard. And one guy lost control and ended up hitting the Marquette sign that was down for some time and just put back up. And then hitting a couple of curves and ultimately hitting the tree and flipping his vehicle. Well, he did sustain some injuries, but then left the scene, jumped in the car with the other guy he was racing with. After that, he then came back to the scene where we had to call medics because it was obvious that he had sustained some injuries due to the accident. And the officers did the paperwork for some arrests, and he had to be treated. So I was able to get the information involved in the accident, the information involved in the police report, and we're going to get with Ms. Jackson and get quotes on, what needs to be done and what needs to be taken care of, and then submit that paperwork to you, Judge, and then you do your thing.
Thank you.
All right.
I guess we were just curious as to whether he had insurance.
Yeah.
So it sounds like he did.
He had the paperwork for insurance, but that's not to say that that it was actually up to date. But he was a resident of the area, and we have all the information we need to tie it back to that individual.
Mm.
Thank you.
All right.
Any other questions?
Oh, any other questions? No.
Thank you, Officer Lee. Was that it, Mr. Brooks?
That's it, I'm sorry.
Okay, so now we're to this area where we can have public comment. So have there been any signatures or sign-ins for
Yes,
public
we have-
comment?
We have two. The first one is Deidre Merrill and then Jim Nowacki.
Okay, very good.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Deidre Wesley Merrill, and I'm here today. Okay. Good morning. My name is Deidre Wesley Merrill. I'm the captain of the 4th District, and I'm here today to request the 4th District to be able to use Reed's Park starting March the 7th. We're requesting it every Saturday. And what we'll be doing is being able to have our community meetings, block club meetings. We're putting together JA programs for the children, stepping teams for the children. And we would like to see if we can use Reed's Park as well for our Easter egg hunts on April the 11th, as well as Patcher Park on the 11th. And see if we'll be able to, we will maintain the pavilion, Reed's Park. We'll clean up after ourselves, and if permission is granted, we will try and help with beautification of Reed's Park. Keeping it cut, putting out flowers, landscaping it a little better. If you guys would approve it for us.
Okay. So now, what's the protocol for that?
So my question, you want to utilize it without free of charge, is that correct? Is that what you're asking?
I mean, if we have to come up with funding to pay for it, then we will start doing fundraisers to do so.
So we will rely on the recommendation of Ms. LeBroy, the executive director?
If you would give me an opportunity to work with Raven, who has the calendar, to ensure that we don't have any other events that have been booked there.
Okay.
We can talk about it offline if that's okay, and figure that out. Yes, yes, and if you can provide it in writing so we can have the dates as well, that'd be great.
Yes,
Or have
it
you already
was sent
submitted
to, it was sent
So,
to,
to Raven?
I don't know if the secretary sent it to Reagan or Raven or to you. I'm not sure.
Okay, well then we'll
I'll
follow
find
up
out.
and see.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Nowacki?
You should stand over there.
Yes.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Jim Nowacki. I live in the 2nd District. You may have heard the Chinese proverb, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. And the reason is because trees not only require care, but they also require time to grow. Most of the trees in our city's parks have been in those parks for a long, long time, and the conditions of them have now, because trees get old, they don't live forever, and some of the trees have been diseased and have otherwise met with other problems. It's necessary to replace trees on a regular basis. In other words, we cannot simply say, as a previous speaker said, we're just going to go and plant a lot of trees in some odd little section of the city because there's a grant money available. We have to plant trees in all of our city parks on a regular basis. And more importantly than just planting a tree and walking away and patting yourself on the back, those trees need care for the first couple of years. I'll give you an example. If you go to the Indiana University, you see that they planted some trees several years ago, and they plant a few trees every year. And they have a system, they stake them out, they have a system for watering them regularly to make sure the trees have a good start. I've noticed that trees have been planted in some of our parks. I think maybe you got some grant money and planted the trees and cashed the checks and figured your job was done. But now those trees are broken over, or those trees have died for lack of water. And all of that time, all of that effort was wasted. And that tree was killed. Tree came to Gary to be murdered. So what I'm saying is this: we have to have a regular program. If we had started a program 20 years ago, planted, the best time is to plant in the ER years, September, October, November, December, the best months of the year to plant. And if we had planted 20 or 40 trees, one tree a day during those 4-month period, we'd have thousands of trees, new trees planted. Old trees could be removed, diseased trees could be removed, and we'd have new trees taking their places. But if we wait to do it all at once, it can't be done. So what I'm going to urge the park board, maybe you can do it with Mr. Booz, maybe there's some other resources that you can touch upon, but bit by bit, tree by tree, trees have to be planted on a regular basis over a period of time. They cannot all be done at once and expect that you're going to be able to maintain 1,000 trees at the same time. So just going to urge you to take that Chinese proverb to heart. Best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago, but the second best time to plant a tree is today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nowacki.
I just want to bring up my Vista worker, Paxton, because he has been working with our partners on our tree initiative, just to kind of go and give an overview on what he's been working on with that as well.
So the organizations that have been planting the trees are the National Forest Service and the Student Conservation Association. They've been working together to do that. I just had a meeting with them Thursday. In total, since 2017, they've planted 702 trees in Gary. They do have 2 dedicated teams of youth workers who travel around to assess and water each tree. They're also using some pretty, it's not super sophisticated, GPS is GPS, but each of those trees is marked. It is mapped digitally. They have pretty extensive graph works on the health of them. This summer, working with the Department of Green Urbanism, 30 students, school-aged children, will be working with the Nature Conservancy and the Forest Department to do a total tree inventory for all of the parks that are in the city, where they have been planting them, so they will be updated accordingly, and any trees that need to be taken out will be taken out. Additionally, they're also going to be specifically targeting diseased trees, and most of those trees that have disease would not be ones that were planted in the last 3 years. It'll be trees that were planted 50 years ago. Ash specifically, so there will be specifically an ash assessment going on at the same time. And I'm just trying to think if there are any other relevant points. Also, to the point that you can't just plant and plant and plant and plant. They really have been using the last 3 years to plant, and the next 3 years the job is to maintain. But there are, I can guarantee you, because I went out on the back of the truck and was slopping the 5-gallon buckets and doing the whole thing. There are 2 dedicated teams of approximately 12 kids, 12 really good-natured kids who are going around and maintaining these trees and really working on them. The The trees over at IU were planted are the same people who planted the trees at Brunswick, are the same people who planted the trees over at Reed, are the same people who planted the trees. I don't think anyone else is really planting trees on a large scale level in the city, other than the Student Conservation Association and the Department of Forestry, the Forest Department or whatever. So just to those points.
Okay, and you said that was since, what year was that? 702?
So I can forward this to Clotilde just so she has it. So in 2017, just a quick breakdown. In 2017, Marquette Park got 30 trees, Jackson Park got 25, Reed Park got 20. In 2018, IU Northwest Campus, 62 trees, Reed Park, another 39, the Gary Gateway, 15 trees, and then they went real crazy last year, which is probably where the majority of trees that have been damaged or whatever come from, because when you plant that many trees, you're bound to get some that, you know, some jerk is going to kick them over or whatever. But last year they planted 516 trees over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, at over 17 sites. So
Okay, very good.
Yep.
That answers your question. Okay.
Well, IUN looks like they're taking good care of the trees that they've planted. I don't see that care being made, extended to trees around the city. And their trees look like they're thriving, but the trees that they planted everywhere else look like they're under some duress or dead.
Thank you. Okay, so is that it for public comment?
Yeah.
That's all who signed in.
That's all who signed in, yes, but Carol wants to know if she could speak.
Okay, Carol?
Carol can always.
Well, thank you for allowing me to speak.
And good morning.
Good morning, good morning. I did write you a letter really quickly because I wanted you to know how much we have already invested in damages to our park, Marquette Park. I'm sure there's damages at all the parks, and you know, I wish we could solve all the problems everywhere, but besides that, what can we do to start preventing these things from happening? That sign is huge. It's like, I don't know, 8 feet, and it's solid steel, and they whacked it off and broke it, and what if that had been a child and a mom or anybody that was hit by a drag racer? We're trying to put boulders to protect the infrastructure, but we just don't get them up quick enough after we repair something. And we've lost 4 streetlights. This has happened over the years, but we keep begging the city to help us with those streetlights. The assessment is $8,000 per light because they're historic streetlights, they're concrete base, they're, you know, special. But we need, for safety purposes, we need lights. We have there's a emergency phone that is in the park along the promenade that is not functioning, and I don't know if the park department needs to deal with that or the police department or both together maybe, and get that fixed in case someone is in distress. Anyway, Friends of Marquette Park, Shoreline Committee, all of us are willing to work with the city, with the law department, with park department, whatever it takes to keep our parks safer. So I just wanted to get that plug in. Okay? Thank you.
And I can speak to a couple of these issues. So the lights, in my previous role in Public Works, I remember that Public Works always repaired all of the lights through the traffic department. And I know they've had some transition over there and they're restructuring, but I will find out if that's something that they can absorb in their budget, because I know that that will be expensive because they are historic lights to fix, so I can see if they can do that. And the emergency phone, we are working with that, and it's I'm supposed to be working with Mr. Lilly on that. So we are working on that as well because we do know that that's an issue. So thank you for those comments.
Okay. Any other comments? Any comments from board members? Okay, I want to thank you guys. It's been a very interesting and very effective meeting today. So thank you for your attendance, your patience, and if that's all we have, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment. Okay. Very good.